Well, viewers of this channel will know it's been my consistent policy to give Boris Johnson, Lord Frost, the British government, the benefit of the doubt on the Brexit negotiations. But we're hearing today some very troubling reports, reported consistently, the details really, across the board, that amount to what would be a huge UK concession to the EU in these negotiations. And we even hear that the concession, which includes a 5-year transition period on fisheries, has been rejected by the EU. And so we sit here in late December with these unreasonable, ridiculous, frankly, EU demands continuing, with the UK still not walking away, and the prospect of a deal being rammed through Parliament, if a deal is done, with very little time for scrutiny. Going to bring you all the very latest in this report, guys, but please start off as ever by hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss future reports, and help me out by hitting the thumbs up as well. Would really appreciate that. Now, Bloomberg, this story originated from, as far as I can see. EU rebuffs Boris Johnson's latest Brexit concession on fish. The European Union rejected, Bloomberg report, the UK's latest concessions on fishing, two officials said, dealing a setback to efforts to secure a post-Brexit trade deal. On Monday, the UK made an offer that would see the value of the fish the EU catches in British waters shrink by 30%, according to people familiar with the discussions. And of course, we know that the EU's dismal insult of an offer previously was that it would be about 15 to 18%. Now the UK is offering 30%. Also, I would argue, pretty dismal stuff, especially when you consider, as Bloomberg report again, that last week the UK was insisting the EU take a 60% cut, but the bloc refusing, reportedly, to discuss a reduction of more than 25%. So there you have it. It seems to me that in the space of about a week here, we've seen the UK demand on fisheries basically halved, and the acceptance now of a transition period which will take us into 2026. Let me know in the comments, by the way, guys, what you are making of all of this. Now, this wasn't just a single report, because the Telegraph today also saying that the EU has rejected this UK offer on fishing rights despite a personal call between Prime Minister Boris Johnson and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, designed, the Telegraph say, to force a last-minute breakthrough in the Brexit deal negotiations. The UK's offer on fisheries would have seen the bloc slash the value of its fishing catch in UK waters by roughly a third over a transition period of 5 years, down from an initial demand, again, to cut it by 60% over 3 years. Again, this is halving the overall percentage whilst increasing this transition period. And even this has been rejected by the EU. It is frankly ridiculous, is it not? Now, Politico also broke the story that Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen spoke on Monday to discuss a compromise on fisheries. The call said to be raising hopes of a deal being done at the last minute. Described as a secret phone call by Politico, an attempt to reach an 11th hour compromise, according to an official familiar with the talk. Downing Street declined to comment on the call, where UK government official did say, though, the EU position is still miles off what would be acceptable to us. Well, I guess the question again is, if the EU position is miles off, why have we still not walked away? And just to give some further detail on what this is said to have looked like and where we are, Bruno Waterfield of the Times, 30% reduction to EU catch by value over 5 years equals 6% annual phase reduction over transition shared among all fishing states. Rejected by EU, expecting next offer to be around 33% over 6 years, 5.5%. That could do it, he said. If not, landing zone could be 35% over 7 years. 5% annual cut shared by all fishing states every year. That would be a reduction in French catch, just to put this into perspective, of less than 2% annually, taking it all well past Macron's next elections in 2022. Now, one Conservative MP has responded on this to some of these reports is David Jones, a Brexiteer, who has said we must build up our indigenous fishing capacity, which has the potential to support many thousands of jobs. A key point, of course, that the London-centric, posh commentators turn their noses up at, but something this issue is vitally important to those coastal communities who are basically robbed of so many jobs and opportunities and prosperity over the years. That must be put right. But do we really think a 5-year transition period and 30% is really our ambition? Let me know what you make of this. David Jones gone on to say, if EU seek access, they should be prepared to negotiate on an annual basis as they do with Norway. Now, Nigel Farage, meanwhile, has urged Boris Johnson to be a hero and walk away from these negotiations to secure a clean break from the EU. And Nigel writing in the Telegraph, worse still is the insistence by Barnier that the EU could slap tariffs back on British goods if Britain is perceived by the EU to have diverged too far. This would mean that a sword of Damocles would hang over the UK for years to come. It would also mean that the EU remained Britain's boss. Every aspect of new UK government legislation would need to pass the EU's test. There is no way, he says, that 17.4 million people vote Brexit in order for their country to be pushed around by a bunch of bureaucrats. No deal would clearly be better than this, and I've pointed this out before. I mean, this kind of deal, in reality, especially when you talk about fisheries transitions that just go on and on and on, is the opposite of a clean break. It will just continue. I'm sure we'll get threats about if we implement certain Brexit competitive advantage, we will be punished. Doesn't sound very appetising to me. Nigel going on to say specifically on Boris that his leadership of the Conservative Party is beginning to be debated widely. My view, Nigel says, is that he handled the COVID crisis very badly and looks to be in trouble. Yet an address to the nation in which he said, we have tried our best, but we are dealing with unreasonable people, and so we are leaving without a deal, would turn him into a hero overnight. Nigel concludes by saying, if Johnson wants to be remembered as a man of courage, he must stop caring what people may or may not think of him and act decisively. Too often, he wobbles like a jelly. This time, he must be solid as a rock. And of course, it was the 15th of October deadline that I highlighted, where Boris Johnson quite clearly said, if we don't have an agreement by then, we'd walk away. That came and went, and now we find ourselves deep into December, still negotiating, still seemingly tabling concessions to the EU that they are rejecting. Now, I asked members of the channel, and if you want to become a member and support my work here, guys, do hit the join button. See the link in the top pinned comment below. I asked my supporters on the channel what they made of these concessions on fisheries. Louise saying even at 60% it was a sellout, but 30% is just taking the... Yeah, I think we can fill in the blank there, Louise. Ian saying this is simply a sellout and a huge betrayal of what many who voted Tory in the hope regeneration of our coastal communities believed Brexit was delivering. Now that has been rejected, who knows what else will be given away by the government. I sense that Boris, having burst the Christmas bubble, is about to burst the Tory voting bubble. This is the critical crunch moment, guys. Are we going to see this sort of rollover on fisheries or not? Are we going to see Boris hold firm or not? Are we going to see a last minute deal rammed through Parliament, or will we see Boris walk away? Let me know what you want to see happen, and also let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Also want to know specifically what you think about this rumoured concession on fisheries. And of course, as ever, guys, if you found this video helpful and informative, please hit that thumbs up button. That would really help me out. And of course, as I said before, you can hit the join button below to become a member of the channel. Your support, of course, very welcome. And finally, guys, as ever, thanks for watching.